getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Well, I'm lumped up, but I'm okay. It's gonna get lumped up anyway. You better call back the posse. Just getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of RockerMike and Rob Presents. I am RockerMike, Rob Rossi to my left. We have special guest today. His name is Chris Riza of the band Velvet Attack. They are a fairly new band, few years old, out of Germany. They're fantastic. Very 60s garage band based. I've been enjoying listening to them. Chris, how you doing today? Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for inviting us. Me.
So,
I'm okay. I just came home from work. I'm an architect in my real life.
Right.
And now I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about your band Velvet Attack, which, like I said, I've been enjoying listening to since we first started talking. What I like about this band is they're very melodic, okay? 60s based, which is, obviously very cool. They have kind of almost like a Byrds sound to them, but a little heavier. They're definitely influenced by some of the later 60s influenced bands like Chesterfield Kings and stuff like that. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Chris?
of course.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who's playing in our band.
Yeah, your lineup here. I've got a gentleman named Kono on lead vocals, Pelecaster on bass, Alex Schomert on guitar, Remco Rientz on drums, and then yourself, Chris Riza, also on guitar with the occasional lead vocal. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. I'm not so good with my German.
No problem. No problem.
You guys are riding high on your last and first actual album release that came out late last year, an album called Visions from Inner Space. And I'd like to talk about some of these tracks. But actually, before we do that, let's just talk about how you guys first formed. Now, I know you're out of Dortmund, Germany. You got together in 2018. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
How'd you guys get together?
So, I was playing in a band with Kono, our singer, and with Remco. And we were the Cheeks.
The Cheeks.
Yes, that was our name. And we had a very good organ player. But at one point, we decided, we just don't want this Raymond Zarek Doors organ sound all the time.
Right.
We just want to come back to guitar dominated sound, and so we said, okay, let's get new guys in and change the name, and that is what we did. Alex, our second guitar player, was in the last incarnation of Can. You know Can?
Can, really? Okay.
Yeah. Was
very
the last
familiar.
Yeah, he's still playing with Damo Suzuki in his backing band.
Okay.
So he's bringing this kind of influence to our band.
Well, it's it's a progressive. Should I say kraut rock type of thing?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's him. That's him.
Can has been around for 50 years, even more than close to 60 years, right? They've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize there was a connection there. That's
there is connection. And he's the one who's doing all the improvised solos, and I'm the one who's playing more the melodic solos, like the Rickenbacker stuff and so on.
Right. Are you playing an actual Rickenbacker?
Yes.
Like a 12-string Roger McGuinn type?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
I do.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. And Then there is Pele, our bass player.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real rock star in our band. Yes, he was in a band named Astra Kid, and they were like, Hamburger Schule. What that
No,
is?
I don't.
That's
Unfortunately.
okay. No problem. That was in the late 80s, mid 90s, kind of bands from Hamburg.
Right.
That's why Hamburger Schule, Hamburger School,
Mm-hmm.
and they were not far from here. It's a little city named Oer-Erkenschwick, where they're from, and I always knew them. And
What was their sound like?
Bands like Blumfeld or Die Sterne.
Okay.
That's Hamburger Schule.
Okay.
Then he was for 7 or 8 years in a band called Klee. And that's why his status comes from, because they had 2 #1 albums here in Germany. So he was really huge and big with this band.
Wow.
They are evolved into a very, very smooth sounding something. So he at one point he left this band and concentrated on his own band named Pelecaster, and they were a little back to these mid 90s indie rock roots, and that's the sound and the style he brings to our band.
Well, just by what you're saying, you have a lot of influences coming into what you do.
I like that because
I agree. Yes, I think that's great.
I don't. The Birds are obviously my favorite band.
The Birds.
I mean, that's great. I mean, they're one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, and to give it a more, what should I say? To give it more influences and not be a Birds style cover band. It was really good to have, especially these 2 guys in the band, because they can play, of course, and they have different influences into the band they can bring.
I mean, apart from the Birds style guitar playing, okay, the jangly guitars and stuff like that the Birds are known for. You guys are a little heavier than that. I mean, I'm hearing like even the Cramps in there. I'm hearing like some punk bands, maybe the Buzzcocks a little bit in there. And I think that's great. I mean, what you came from is all different backgrounds, it seems, and progressive, a little bit more involved kind of things like Can, okay? And now you strip that down and you become Velvet Attack.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic thing. Now, the first single you guys had was a song called She's a Human Doll, okay?
Really?
And again, another infectious, melodic, catchy song, okay? What everything rock and roll was supposed to be.
That was the last song.
Like very heavy. The heavy guitar is very like, wow. It blew my mind when I heard it. That and Hellfire. The other one I love was Hellfire. It was very good too.
Yeah, Hellfire is fantastic.
I used to play in a band called the Vampire State Building in the 90s. Yeah. And we had a few records out. And then in the end of the Vampire State Building, when I left the band, we had this song called Hellfire.
Yeah.
And I put it in my pocket. And when I played with the Cheeks, first it was pop punk. And then we involved more and more into psychedelia and 60s stuff. And I always thought, Hellfire was a really good song. Why throw it away? We never recorded it with the Vampire State Building, so maybe the boys in our band liked it. And Human Doll was the last song we did when we were the Cheeks.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We never recorded this song properly, so only a demo, and then we took the song with us too.
Now I know your album, which we're going to talk about, is out on Sound Flat Records. Was the single of "She's a Human Doll" on Sound Flat, or
yes?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So how did you get involved with Sound Flat Records?
They're here from Cologne, and I know Traxel, who is the owner and boss of Soundflat for really a lot of years. And interestingly, he's a friend of my girlfriend for like 25 years, because he's from the same small town, not far from the same small town where my girlfriend is from southern Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, Kono, or a singer, asked him, "Do you want to release some records by ourselves?" And he said, yeah, cool, sounds good.
Right. Okay.
So we're friends.
Yeah. So you go way back.
Yeah.
It's good to have connections, right?
Yes. As I say, as an architect, it's let's translate it. The only bad thing you can have is not to have connections.
Yeah. It's so much of the business is who you know, and who can help you, and who you're friends with, and who your friends are friends with, and all that.
Yes.
You know, I agree. So let me ask you. I mean, you mentioned the Byrds as a big influence. Who else? Name some other bands that really, really kind of harken back to what you're doing now.
Okay. I start with myself. My maybe 5,000 favorite bands. No. Let's put it down to 5. The Velvet Underground, the 13th Floor Elevators,
mm-hmm.
the Beatles, the Byrds, and the Beach Boys. Because yes, I love the Beach Boys. I'm a really huge fan.
No, I am too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I like about the lineup we have now is that everybody can sing.
So you have some harmonies there a little bit.
Yes. So everyone is really singing, and we can really do this 3 or 4 part harmony stuff or corresponds things. I like those.
Yeah. Every band that you just described, okay, kind of, if you put them all together, it does sound like you guys.
Okay? Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, it's really like a perfect mix of everything you talked about. You know, how about some of the punk scene, maybe the 70s punk scene, like the Ramones or the Buzzcocks, or you influenced by any of that?
Yeah. When I was in the Vampire State Building, we made 2 visits to New York.
That's where we are.
Yeah. And we visited the Misfits in New Jersey.
Yes.
And we're standing in the room where the Misfits are one of my favorite bands.
Me too.
Yeah. And we were playing with Jerry Only and Doyle in their original rehearsal room.
What year was this about? Just wondering.
That was late 90s. That was before.
So that's when the Misfits had Michael Graves in the band.
Yes, that was one interesting thing. We had a really good singer in the Vampire State Building, and we flew over there to New York, and he really got Doyle on the phone, and he said, "Can we visit?" And he said, "Yeah, come on over." And they were so impressed with Peter, who was our singer, that they said, that was a few months before they got Michael Graves. And they asked him if he wanted to be the singer of the Misfits.
No kidding.
What? Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, and we flew back to Germany, and he talked to me about half a year after that. can we two go to New York and I'll be the singer of the Misfits? You know, if you want to go to New York and be the singer of the Misfits, do that. But I can do nothing in New York.
Yeah.
But you can. But he got cold feet and he didn't ever go.
Yeah. Now, as a big Misfits fan, that era of the Misfits, I actually like. Okay, I mean, obviously, the original Glenn Danzig stuff is the best.
Yeah.
Okay,
it is, of course.
But I do enjoy like the Famous Monsters album a lot. I think that's one of the best records of the '90s, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, the '90s were kind of iffy when it comes to music, but I enjoy that record a lot. And you know, they also had the what's the other album called? American Psycho, I think. That's the first one with Michael Graves.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, the Misfits now they're back with Glenn, and they've been touring for the last couple of years. Me and Rob saw them at Madison Square Garden.
And how was it?
Great. Unbelievable. Great. I mean, it was like, you know, I was a little too young to see them the first time around.
Same with me.
Yeah, they broke up in '83, and I pretty much started hanging out at stuff like '84, '85. You know, so I kind of I was listening to them as a kid. Okay, you know, back when
still.
Yeah, well, I still listen to them, of course.
Yeah,
but back when, you know, you couldn't find those records. What was it like in Germany finding Misfits records? It had to be hard, right? Back in the day.
It was totally hard, yes.
Yeah.
I know some guy in Hagen, that's not far from here. He's one of the biggest Misfits fans I know. He's got one of Glenn Danzig draw some big posters for the shows in the what's it called? Radio City Musical.
Radio City Musical?
Yeah. And he draws some really huge poster of. He's I think 3 or 4 survived. He's got one of them.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a rare.
Yeah, he spent a fortune on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that.
Now, you know, they just announced that they're playing in New Jersey at the PNC.
Yeah, Newark.
No, not PNC. The Prudential Center.
In Newark.
Yeah, in Newark. In Newark,
okay.
where the hockey team, the Devils, play. They're playing that arena. Yeah. And I was kind of hoping they would, you know, come back and do Madison Square Garden. It's a little closer for me. But they're getting some serious money now for this. I mean, the ticket prices are high, you know, and they're raking it in.
yeah. So let's talk about the favorites of our band members.
Yeah, tell me about some of the other members and what they're into. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
So there's Remco, or drummer, and his favorite musicians are Paul Weller.
The Jam. Yes.
Yeah, the Jam, and Graham Day of the Prisoners. So that's his favorites.
Okay.
Then there is Kono, or a singer. He's changing all his favorites a little bit around, but I think there are some mainstays in his list. These are Love, I would like to say. Love, you know.
I love Arthur Lee.
Yeah, Arthur Lee.
Yeah,
and then of course, bands like the Beatles and the Chesterfield Kings and stuff like that. So really
actually, just to interrupt you for a second, we're very good friends with Greg. Okay,
with Greg Prevost, yes.
Greg Prevost, and we've had him on the show.
Cool.
We do a like a year-end rally at the end of the year. We talk about things that happen, and we give like a little award out, like best song of the year, best album of the year. Last year we had him on, and we interviewed him about his book. Okay, because he wrote.
Yeah, I got it.
Isn't it amazing? It's an amazing book, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So he was the book of the year. last year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
I know Massimo Del Pozzo real good.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because he put out one of our Cheeks records.
Ah,
Yeah,
Rob, I got to tell you, it's amazing to me sometimes, because I'm always talking to people behind the scenes. I let you know who I'm talking to and all that.
Yeah.
And then all you guys know each other all the time. It never fails. It never fails. The business, no matter how big you think it is, it's still small.
I wrote some songs for the Fuzz Tones, but Rudy refused to do them. He said, I don't. Yeah. One was called On a Night Like This. We did it by ourselves later on.
I think Rob, Danny Garcia, I think, is doing something with the Fuzz Tones. Did you see any of that stuff? Danny Garcia is a friend of the show. He's a film director.
Okay.
You have to check out his documentaries. He's done quite a few music ones. He did one on Brian Jones. He did one on Johnny Thunders. He did one on the Clash. He did one about the old rock club Max's Kansas City in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a new one coming out that I'm actually in. I get interviewed very briefly. It's coming out in a couple of months. It's called Ghosts of the Chelsea, and not the Chelsea Hotel. So check out Danny Garcia online. He's great.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, that's cool.
So Rudy and Jana are living in Berlin, of course.
Yes.
We're really good friends, but he refused to do all my songs.
Did he think he didn't like them, or he just didn't want to do them?
He said, "No, that's not totally my point of view. I hear in the song." So he said,
"Okay, well, that's up to him."
With me,
the Fuzz Tones are a great band.
It's good enough, of course.
Yeah. I've been thinking about doing a show on them for a while.
Okay.
Oh, we should do one on them.
Yeah, we should. What about you mentioned Kono? What about Pele? What is he interested in musically?
I think Supergrass is his favorite band.
Supergrass.
Yes.
Good band.
Yeah, of course. That's the kind of music he likes.
Yeah.
Mid-90s indie stuff.
Cool.
Not only the British stuff, but American stuff as well, like Pavement or stuff like that.
Yeah. See, what I love about all you European guys, is whether it's Germany or England, France, you're all so well-rounded. Here in America, people just listen to the same old crap. They never want to hear anything new. You know, I mean, that's not. I'm just generalizing. That's not everybody, but
no.
But it's just it's so much of people say to me, how do you know so much about music, and how do you find these bands? I never heard of these bands, and I'm like, you just have to look. It's not
you have to.
With the internet now, you could find anything.
Yeah.
And like you guys, all your stuff is out on YouTube. Just look under Velvet Attack. Okay. Yeah. And you could discover a new band. So I think that's great. What about Alex?
Alex is our 70s guy, of course. He's into krautrock, and
you gotta have a 70s guy.
Yeah. We all have not so much rock stuff. The moment Pete Townsend exchanged his Rickenbacker for a Gibson Les Paul, that was it for me. Not for him, of course.
Right.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just kidding. But that's
I like the early Who better than
of
the later. Yeah.
Of course, me too. Yes. And then there is that was it.
I think that's everybody. Yeah, we got the influences down.
Yeah.
All right, so
Mike, Mike, one guy that I love Screaming Jay Hawkins. The more I listen to his stuff, that guy was fantastic.
Yep.
Of course.
Yep. I mean, you can't get any better than him. And there's that famous live recording. I'm sure you've heard it, Chris. The Fuzz Tones and Screaming Jay.
Yes,
classic record. Yeah. That was put out on Midnight Records.
On Midnight, yes.
Which was Midnight Records was when you came to New York, did you go visit Midnight?
No.
I missed that store, man. That was on 23rd Street. That was a great store.
Yeah.
And sadly closed up. He stayed online for a few years, but then he passed away.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that live recording of Screamin' Jay with the fuzz tones, you can actually see there's a video. It was videoed as well.
It's almost as good as Jerry Lee Lewis at the Star Club.
Yes, almost as good.
Yeah,
almost as good.
You cannot get any better if you want a rock and roll record than this live record by Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. So many bands we've spoken to from Europe are influenced by that record. They bring it up a lot. Oh, you got to hear this record. A lot of people in America forgot about that live album. That's a great live album.
Yeah, I know.
He's totally insane in that.
Totally.
Yeah. I got to meet his sister last year.
Ah.
Okay.
How was she?
She's about 12 years younger than he was.
Okay.
Linda Lee. She was fantastic. She does his songs. She's got a couple of songs of her own, but she plays the piano almost as good as him.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this new album, Visions from Inner Space.
Yes.
Okay. Now, it's been described as Nuggets inspired. Now, let's just tell everybody what that means. Nuggets was a collection put out by Lenny Kaye. Who
on the Nuggets, yes.
Right, from Nuggets. He put out this collection on Elektra Records 50 years ago. Yes. And Lenny ended up being the guitar player for the Patti Smith group.
Of course.
Okay. And he's out right now. I just was talking to him back in April at a record fair. Okay.
Cool.
And he was about to go out on the 50th anniversary of the album. And he's doing these live shows with different bands in different cities and celebrating the release of Nuggets. There's also been this year a brand new Nuggets release where they on vinyl only. Okay, where they re-released the original album, remastered. They made a Nuggets Part 2, which never came out. It was supposed to come out years ago. It never did.
Okay.
And about 3 records of outtakes. Okay, stuff that never made it. So when I saw that, you guys were in your bio when you were claiming you were inspired by Nuggets, I just had to bring all that up because
of course.
the Nuggets thing was so influential on me. I could hear it in your music now. Obviously the Byrds, the Buzzcocks, the Chesterfield Kings. But let's talk about some of these songs you have here. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 songs on this record. If you want, we could talk about each one. How would you like to do that? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right. The album starts off, this is called Visions from Inner Space. Starts off with a song called The Double Cylinder Man. What a great title.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you about The Double Cylinder Man. My girlfriend read some ridiculous translations of German idioms, and one of them was the double cylinder man, whatever that means. I didn't know what it means. It sounded great for me. It sounded like a title.
Yeah.
And I don't think it took me more than 15 minutes to get the idea of the song.
Yeah.
So maybe you talk to the right guy at the moment because I wrote all the songs.
Right. Well, you're the man.
Okay, I did.
So double cylinder man doesn't have any double meaning or anything like that?
No. I was talking a lot with our producer and with our singer about it. So I wanted to know what their idea was of a double cylinder man, what that maybe means to them. In the end, I just thought it's a man with like, you know what a Janus hat is?
No, I
It's
don't.
it's a person from the Greek mythology, who's got a
Oh, Giannis, the face is both
Janus.
ways.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I
yes.
got you.
So it's yes. So it's one like a saint of the very last day who's preaching this and doing that.
Like
with
a
his second.
like a two-face
Yes,
person. Okay,
yes.
I got you. That
So
works.
that's more or less the meaning behind it.
Okay. Well, what about Daughter of the Sun, the next track?
It's about this the first line, this Caribbean voodoo hoodoo things. And the Daughter of the Sun is Marie Laveau. You know her?
Oh,
You know
very well.
Okay.
I go in and out of New Orleans all the time. I know about.
Okay. She lived in the 19th century.
Yes,
And
the
she
Voodoo
was
Queen.
the voodoo queen. She was the queen of the voodoos, and maybe that's the relation to the Cramps, one of my favorite bands too, one of my 1,000 favorite bands.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the lyrics more or less around that. I always got a interesting religious connotation in a lot of songs I write. Our producer always tells me, I was on a religious school,
right?
You have to I was taught by priests and stuff like that.
I see.
So he always says.
So there's a spiritual element to your writing.
Yes, yeah. You have to go deep into this religious Catholic things, and have to work with that in your head, and you have to get that out, and so there are a lot of little things in songs relating to religious stuff.
Yeah, I can hear it in the lyrics. I mean, the next song is called Hellfire. There you go.
Great song.
Okay.
Great song.
Yeah.
Okay. Great song. Excuse me. Hellfire is about the biography of Jerry Lee Lewis. It is.
Right.
It is
Nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really that. I wrote this biography, and there are a lot of religious things in this biography. This cousin of Jerry Lee Lewis was this preacher,
yes,
this
Jimmy
Swaggart. Jimmy Swaggart, yes.
Yeah,
and so on and
cousin.
on. He was his cousin, yes. Yeah. And I always thought, what is the reason? I don't mean this ironically. What is the reason for a rock and roll singer to be on one hand that dynamic and out of touch with all traditional religious things, and on the other hand, preaching so much about religious stuff?
Well, Jerry Lee Lewis, I know you know this. I mean, was from the Deep South, Louisiana.
Yes, of course.
And he came from like that, that Southern Baptist type of upbringing, and it's all preaching. Okay, and there's a lot of music, so he had that at a young age. Okay, and he learned how to play piano at a young age, and he then, but because of his rebellious streak, I mean, he got thrown out of like a seminary type school, and then went into music. And it seems like I get what you're saying, like you wouldn't have that connection, but especially in those years, there was a connection out of the religious world with rock and roll.
It's the same
Elvis too.
Yeah, I was too. It's the same with the Luvin brothers. You know them, of course.
Yes.
Yes. This really famous record they did, Satan is Real.
Yes.
That says everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And country music, whether it was country or R&B, okay, early R&B, it was always religious overtones to it.
Yes.
And you can't get away from that. Now, what about House of Correction, Chris? Where'd you get that from?
I believe you know what a House of Correction is.
Jail.
And yes. I always got yes.
I've been in a few.
But I had this connection in my mind about a younger delinquents coming to the front of this building and not really being sent to jail, but lurked in and said, come on in. Here, everything is great. In fact, it isn't. And they say, oh, come on up. Here's your family. Maybe you have no family. Maybe they've thrown you out. And here you have your new home. Right. But the new home isn't that good, of course.
Yeah, your new home in the House of Correction.
Yeah, your new home. Yes. So it wasn't really a jail I was thinking about. It was really more a house where you can go. It's like this second thing about those religious stuff I was talking about.
Right.
It's these preachers, these people who want to get a hold on you and say, "Oh, I'm not this." Control you, yes. And no, it starts in the 20s, and then Charles Manson's family and all this stuff. They say, okay, this is I'm not one of the bad guys. I'm the good one. So we come back to this a little later when we're talking about drinking water, praying wine.
Right. That's the last song. We're going to talk about that one because I like that title. Your next song is You Know Everything Better. That rounds off side one. What's that about? You Know Everything Better.
It's not about a special person. It's about, yes, of course, religious leaders, about political leaders, about financial leaders,
right.
Who think of themselves as people who know a lot of things better. I got some lines I had written for this song, like, the NRA is storing everything away, and so on and on.
Yeah.
So with our producer, we focused on lines that are not so controversial.
Okay.
Than the NRA or the NSA or whatever,
Right.
So you know everything better. So
like they know more than you. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Wow.
They might know more than I know.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Because they're spying on you. That's what you're trying to say. I got you.
And all these people from different backgrounds.
Right. Now, one thing I'm going to mention, this album, Visions from Inner Space, it is available on vinyl.
Yes.
Okay. And also you have a digital download of it too, right?
Yes. We interestingly got an offer from a label from New Jersey.
Oh, which one?
Want to, Monkey so-and-so. I forgot the name.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you maybe know that.
Yeah, I might.
I sent it to you. I sent them to you. They are just waiting because we recorded more songs than this 10. We recorded 13 songs, in fact. 2 songs we finished. and we want to give him a bonus track. That's a song called Electric Chair in My Kitchen Sink. It's a surf punk number.
Yeah. Okay,
So
great title.
Yeah, it didn't fit the other songs too good.
No, yeah, it's an outtake. You left it off for another
Yeah, we left it off.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
At the moment, our producer is mixing the song down. So we
Okay.
can send it to him.
Okay.
That's a bonus tracks. We got another song called Broken Into Pieces.
Mhm.
I think we can do the song better than we did. It's the slow number with acoustic guitars and stuff. And we changed the lead singer around. I was singing parts. Our singer was singing part. And a lot of huge harmonies. What we said, we have to get a string quartet on this song.
Okay.
This song is so different from the others that we early in the process we said, oh, this song is not gonna make the cut for the LP, but it's a good song. So my niece, you know,
Yes.
she's good friends with Robbie Williams.
Ah, okay.
Yes, and our producer said, if this song is sung by a really huge singer, that could be a hit. And so I gave Sarina is her name, this song as an MP3 file. She got an invitation to London, where she went 2 years ago or so, and she took the song with her and gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
But he never came back to me.
Well, you never know. You might get that phone call.
Maybe, but maybe not. So we recorded the song as well.
Okay.
But maybe we can put on a better version than we did. We're not so satisfied.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the second side. And I say second side because we're back to vinyl here.
Of course.
The opening track on the second side is called "Kill the Weekend." Another good title.
Yeah, that was a title that our singer came up with, and I wrote a song, and I wasn't so satisfied, and he wasn't so satisfied either. He said, "You can do better song than that." And so I wrote a second version and wasn't so satisfied too. And then I wrote a third version. I said, this title is too good to be thrown away. Normally, if a song doesn't work in the first 10 minutes or so,
you got to feel it right away.
Yeah, I throw it right away.
Yeah.
But this song the title was too good. And it's about someone who wants to go out now, wants to go out in the night and have a good time, and is standing in front of a club or a bar, whatever. Go to party. And I think this, what I like about the title is that it's not so one-dimensional. It can say, oh, this night is going to be the biggest fuck up you can imagine. And on the other hand, you can say, okay, let's have a good time. But it's our producer said, let's give the song a real enthusiastic feel. Not so don't be too depressed. So we changed lyrics around, and he said, oh, don't say this, and it's too depressing if you say that in this line. Let's change that around.
Now, so you mentioned your producer.
Yes.
I think we should name the producer Alaska Winter, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. How did you get connected with Alaska Winter?
He produced a record by the Cheeks.
Oh, okay. So it's an old friend.
Yeah, it's an old friend. It was 15 years ago or so. Mm-hmm. And we got to know him through our then bass player Pille, who used to play bass in the Fuzz-Tones for 10 years.
Okay. I probably
All the
saw
connection.
him. Yeah, that's cool.
So he got to know him somehow. He's from Augsburg. He now lives in Austria.
Right.
And he's a really good friend. He's producing Fehlfarben. You know them?
What are they called?
Fehlfarben. It's a huge band here in Germany.
I've heard the name, but I don't know what they sound like. I have to check.
me either.
It's like post-punk. They are in the start. They were very Clash influenced and jam and stuff.
I'd like them. I like those bands.
And then they made an album called Monarchie und Alltag. It's monarchy and everyday living.
These guys sing in German, or they sing in English?
They sing in German.
Just
German.
Okay.
And this album, it's from 81 or 82.
Yeah.
And
I remember the name.
Okay. There are a lot of people who say this is the best LP that ever came out in Germany.
Wow.
Yes. So Alaska is producing, he produced their latest record.
They're still around, this band, huh?
Yeah. They're still around. I saw
40
them.
years.
Yes, I saw them a few months ago on the tour.
Excellent.
Yes, they're still really good going.
Okay, we got a couple more to go to here. The next track is I Cannot See a Forest Without Trees.
Okay. Yes, I like twists in punchlines.
Right.
Yeah, and normally you would say if you see a forest, you see the whole thing, the whole picture of the forest, and so you cannot pick one tree out of all the trees you see. You see the whole thing and not a detail, and that's what the song is about.
Right.
With the twist.
We have an expression: I can't see the forest from the trees.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah. I wanted to give it a twist.
So you did. I got it.
Yes.
The next track is called Sound of Tomorrow. You have two songs in a row with the word tomorrow in it. Sound of Tomorrow.
Yes.
What's that about?
This song is good.
Yeah, I do like that one.
Okay. I think it's the most beat-orientated song on the record. I think. The melody line and the chords, and so it's also about people think they are bigger than other people, and say, if you follow me, this is the sound of tomorrow.
Yeah,
and this is what you should think about.
And how often is that wrong?
It's a lot of
right.
The people who are the most dedicated to one thing are the least reliable. And if someone seems to be too perfect, you have to be careful.
They're hiding something.
Yeah, they're hiding something.
I agree. And it can be like that with bands too. Okay, some bands
U2.
Yeah,
I'm not a U2 fan.
No, now we're definitely on the same page. I am not a big U2 fan.
No.
Yeah, I like maybe the first two albums, but
they're okay.
Not even really go out of my way and listen to it anymore.
No.
They're a band that I never understood how they got so big.
Religious things.
They suck.
Everything has to be good.
Rob's just gonna say it. They suck, right, Rob?
They suck.
Yeah,
I
suck. Okay. I have to say I'm a fan of REM.
REM, I like the early stuff.
Yeah, yes, of course.
And even the latest stuff. There's a song here and there I like. But yeah, I mean, they're two totally different bands. The only thing that I would say they might have in common is they both got very preachy.
Yeah, yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's what
I
meant.
got you.
That's
But,
what I meant.
but REM's a better band than U2, in my opinion.
Light years.
Yeah,
light years.
absolutely.
I'm collecting bootlegs of REM.
Oh,
I think
really?
REM is the band I have the most records from. I think it's like
Oh, yeah.
120 or 130 records. REM alone.
Wow.
I got a big record
That's a
collection.
lot.
Yeah, I do too. But wow, 120. That's great.
Yeah.
Next track, okay, and we're winding down here with the record, but it's The Dawn of Tomorrow. What's that about?
I got
like
at the
this
dawn
line?
of the summer.
Yeah, Dawn of the Summer is.
Oh, my mistake. I'm sorry. It's The Dawn of the
No
Summer.
problem.
I'm sorry. My
Yeah,
mistake.
that's the dawn of the summer, not tomorrow.
My I got bad eyes. My mistake.
I like
the ganja's kicking in.
The weed is kicking in right now. I got messed up.
The weed is kicking in. As I mentioned, I like wordplays. There is a line in the song. The future's withdrawn and the past is uncertain to me. It's of course a line stolen from the Doors.
From the Doors, yeah, it sounds like a Doors line.
Change it around and changed all the things around.
Right.
And
a little bit of poetry right there.
Yeah, interesting. That's another song we played in the last incarnation of the Cheeks. And interestingly, this organ player I mentioned, we had a rehearsal with him yesterday, and he's the best organ. I would say he's the best '60s organ player in Germany.
Are you considering bringing him into the Velvet Attack?
Yes, maybe for a few songs, for a few things.
Okay.
We have a huge festival play in in exactly 1 week, and our bass player is not able to make this.
Oh, okay.
So we have to find a replacement for him. I couldn't find a bass player.
So you could use an organ.
He's playing organ and he's playing bass organ too.
Yeah, I mean that's what Ray Manzarek did.
Yes, I know.
The Doors never had a bass player. Yeah.
No, and he's able to do this in a few hours. He's really musically. He's so intelligent. He can play 2.5 hours Bach, and he can 2.5 hours psychedelic.
Wow.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that's always amazing to me when someone can just pick it up right away, and figure it out. Okay, so the last song from Visions from Inner Space by Velvet Attack is Drinking Water, Praying Wine. Great title.
Okay, that's the favorite title of our producer. He said, "Oh, that's a great title." He said, "Let's hope it's a good song." And I said, "How long did it take for you to write the song?" And I think I got this line, and it took me 5 minutes. Later, I changed things around and worked on it, but the main thing, and I sang pilot vocals for all the songs for our singer.
Okay.
So here I wanted to have a few melody changes at this point, and I did this for this song too.
Cool.
And then our singer said with our producer and recordings, I went away. I couldn't. I'm too much of an influence. So don't make him nervous. I get away from recording the main vocals, the lead vocals, and from this song too. When I came back, he said, "Okay." All the guys in the band were there too. I said, "Okay, listen to this." I recorded the lead vocals for 3 or 4 hours. I said, "That's not so good." Right. And then he said, "Okay, let's change to Chris vocals because this is a song I sing on this record. I'm the lead vocalist on the song.
Yes.
And he asked me,
is this the only one that you sing on the album? I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only lead vocals I sing.
Right.
And he said, how long did it take you? I said, I sing it in 3.5 minutes. And no overdubs, no editing, nothing. No.
One shot.
I sang it. Yeah. And that one shot. And that's it.
One shot.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better.
No, I think most of the time it is. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, some of the best songs were done in one take. Okay.
Twist and shout.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I think that simplicity when it comes to music, is the best policy.
You're right. You know,
sometimes, and I hear it in your music. Okay. There is a complexity. I'm not saying there isn't. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's also a simplicity to what you guys do, and to me it comes from the influences you have. Okay. You know, and I think your overall attitude is you just want to bang out a good song. Yes, you don't want to spend 20 hours in the studio.
No. If you have little things here or there, especially our second guitar player, Alex, he's able to, I got this idea, and he's able to nail it in a minute and say, you like this with an E-bow stuff on this guitar, or stuff like that. He can improvise a lot, and he's able to play that. And it's the same with the backing vocals on stuff like on Dawn of the Summer. I had it planned without any backing vocals, and then Pele came on and said, "Hey, let's." I hear some stuff there and there and there, and then we added stuff.
Right.
So then when we had to rehearse this stuff, we added to our live stuff.
Awesome.
We are rehearsing at the moment a song that's called "High Quality People," and I like this title, this song title as well. And
sounds cool.
Yeah, all the other band members like the song too, and I said, okay, and the song is great. Let's do this. But we're stuck a little bit at the moment because, as you said, I didn't want it to be too complex. And we started with an a cappella part, and then a guitar thing is coming. Originally, I wanted to have a brass part with trumpets. And on the demo I did,
that's something different for you guys.
Yes, on this demo I did, I recorded with a trumpet player, and I think it sounded great. Well, we can replace this with a fuzz guitar. You can do that.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. And then there's a line coming in, give me something to believe in, give me something to believe in. And then the verse is coming in. That's too much. It's too much. It's building up and it's getting down. It's too much. It's got to be, yeah. So we're stuck a little bit. Let's throw everything away and start anew.
Right. All right, Chris.
Songs for like a new album?
These could be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, from new album, new songs we're rehearsing.
New songs.
So, Chris, what do you have coming up as far as some live dates? I know you mentioned a festival coming up.
Yes, we got this festival next week. Then we got the biggest festival in Dortmund, which is not a small one. It's called Juicy Beats. Mm-hmm. That's coming up mid-July. And then there's there's this club in the outskirts near the border of the Netherlands. It's in Gräfenrath. It's a youth club.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the Long Riders there a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Very nice people. I never imagined that they would play in such outskirts of infinity, but they did. and it was really a good.
It's a middle of nowhere kind of place.
Yeah, totally. But it was full. All the guys and girls, girls, elderly women and elderly guys showing up and said, "Oh, there's nothing happening in here in Greifenrad. It's oh, there's a band coming up. They look good. Sounds good. Let's go out." And I was more or less the youngest one in the audience. But I'm not that young, but it was nevertheless a great show.
That's cool.
At the start, they were a little shaky, and Sid Griffin didn't seem so healthy at all with his back or something.
Yeah,
he couldn't even bow down and looked like but they were great.
I mean, so many of these bands have been around forever, and they're just still plugging along. It's amazing,
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Chris. You mentioned earlier about a band. I mean, a label in New Jersey interested. So, is there any chance you come into America?
If there's someone who want to organize a few shows for us, we would definitely come to America.
Okay.
There's someone in Spain and in France who want to do a tour with us in autumn this year. Let's hope it's happening. We postponed it a little from spring to autumn because it was it's the time for organizing him. He said it was too short,
right?
In spring, but now he's got a little bit more time. Let's hope it's happening.
Well, you never know. A Spanish tour could develop into an American tour too. You don't know.
Yeah.
If you got some connections, you're welcome. I listen to I do everything. The good thing is I'm the boss of my architecture bureau.
Right.
And the good thing is I can change times around. I can say, okay, I go on tour for a week or two, and then I have to work on the weekends or at night. No problem.
Yeah,
I have to work a lot. Yeah, I can make up for that.
He makes the schedule.
Yes, I make the schedule.
Excellent.
More or less.
All right, Chris, I want to thank you for coming on. You were fantastic. Chris from Velvet Attack. Everybody check out this band. They are on YouTube. They're also on Spotify. They have their own channel.
Yep.
Where else can we find you? Bandcamp, I believe. Where else?
Yeah, I think Bandcamp. I'm a vinyl type of guy.
Right.
I collect records.
Who's selling the vinyl? Can they get it on Amazon?
Yes. You can go on Soundflat Records. Soundflat mail order.
Okay.
They are connected, but they are not the same company.
We will put that link up with the podcast, so when people see this video, they'll see that.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Really appreciate you coming on. Good luck with the band. Anytime you come to New York City, look me up. We will take care of you, okay?
Great. Thanks a lot.
And I'm talking about alcohol, okay?
Oh, okay. No problem, too.
All right. You take care of yourself, Chris. Have a good day.
You too.
Good night. Good one.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Well, I'm lumped up, but I'm okay. It's gonna get lumped up anyway. You better call back your posse. Just getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi.